Hey guys, Jack Cypher here. Today we're going to be doing another versus battle, this time between Doflamingo versus Cracker. Now the debate between who's stronger out of these two has been floating around for about half a decade now, with people sitting on either side of the fence. And I'm here to finally settle it today, and give you my opinions on who I think will win this fight. And I am going to come straight out and say it, I think that Cracker gets the W here with mid-difficulty, high difficulty if you really want to just jerk Doflamingo off. Now, I get it. That's going to piss a lot of people off. Doflamingo has a huge fan base, and I'm actually with you guys here. I do like Doflamingo better than Cracker. I mean, how can you not? But in terms of power and who would win in a fight, it all goes to Cracker. I might even do a whole video dedicated to Cracker himself about how he's one of the most underrated characters in all of One Piece, if not the most underrated. You never hear anyone talk about him despite how amazing his abilities are. So let's start this video and go over why Cracker is beating Doflamingo. A good way to scale these characters is by using Luffy as a benchmark. They both fought Luffy in a reasonable time frame, so it's our best way to judge their abilities. And I'm going to say it, both of these characters would actually win in a one-on-one fight against Luffy. At least the Luffy that each were fighting in their respective arcs. Because Gear 4th Luffy is stronger than both of them in terms of strength and speed, but in terms of actually winning a fight, Cracker and Doflamingo would have the W. Those current forms of Luffy just are really struggling with the time limit that the Gear 4th has. One discrepancy though I want to bring up is that Luffy in base, second gear and third gear could do absolutely nothing against Cracker. His gear third was being completely blocked, and he wasn't fast enough to be able to score a hit. Now, the same is true for Doflamingo to a degree. Doflamingo was shown to be able to block certain attacks from Luffy, like a gear third elephant gun. However, in that fight, Luffy was shown to be able to get hits in on Doflamingo. He was able to do some damage before he had to activate his gear 4th, just showing some lapses in defense from Doflamingo compared to Cracker. Now, another big factor, and probably Cracker's greatest feat, is being able to cut through Luffy's gear 4th. He's nearly completely cutting off Luffy's arm. This is just an amazing feat, especially since Doflamingo wasn't even able to injure Luffy in his gear 4th. There was a time where Dofi got a solid kick in on Luffy, and it did absolutely nothing, just going to show that Cracker should have greater amounts of armament haki as well as AP. Luffy in Gear 4th was able to break apart Doflamingo's strings, so that would mean that Cracker should be able to cut through Dofi's strings without too much trouble, which again is another amazing feat. We all know how strong and durable those strings are. They're cutting through fucking meteorites, for God's sake. A big factor in this fight, though, is going to be whether or not Doflamingo strings can cut through Cracker's Biscuit Warriors. And now, I'm just going to give Doflamingo the benefit of the doubt and say that they could. But given their differences in haki, there is an argument to be made that it wouldn't work. But let's be nice to Dofi and say that he could do it. I will say, though, that one of Cracker's Biscuit Soldiers was able to survive a Kongan from Luffy. So if we're giving Doflamingo the benefit of the doubt, then he can cut through them, but it's going to be with some difficulty. He's not going to be cutting through these Biscuit Soldiers like they're paper. Now, Doflamingo has more mobility and more versatility compared to Cracker. So I imagine a lot of you do think that he would be able to use some creativity and get close to Cracker and be able to get off an attack on him that would take him down. After all, Doflamingo only needs one good attack. Many people describe Cracker as a glass cannon, which I don't agree with. He actually has some of the best defense in the entire show, but if you do find some way around those defenses, then yes, you do only need one hit on him to really get him down for good. But getting that hit in on him is going to be incredibly difficult because of his biscuit soldiers that he can create and how many of them he can create. Just one of these things is forcing Luffy into Gear 4th, and he can create dozens at a time and create them for 11 hours straight. Dofi would go in to attack some of them, and then boom, another group of them are swarming and honey pretzeling him from behind. He's literally getting spit roasted by these biscuits. That's a sentence I never thought I would say. I just don't see any scenario where Doflamingo can destroy them all at once. Even with his awakening, Cracker's not just going to have his biscuit soldiers just sit there. They're going to be moving around. There's no way Doflamingo is going to be able to destroy them all at once, especially considering the durability that these things have. Even if he did destroy them all at once, he wouldn't be able to destroy them all and injure Cracker's real body. Meaning Cracker will just continuously create these biscuit warriors one after the other. It's not even like Dofi can just use his speed to his advantage, because all things considered, Cracker should be relative or faster than Doflamingo, because after all, he was fighting with Luffy for 11 hours. If Luffy was even half a tier faster than Cracker, he would have been getting the GG much earlier on, because Luffy would be able to destroy the biscuit soldiers and attack his real body with much greater speed. So I definitely would say that they're relative. In defense, Cracker gets the W. In endurance, on the surface, you would logically say that Dofi would get the win. And he would if you were talking about physical pain endurance. But endurance in general, Cracker is fighting Luffy for 11 hours. So I'm going to be throwing stamina in there with endurance. And who knows, maybe Doflamingo can do that as well. We never see anything relative to him doing anything close to that level, though. So for endurance, I would be kind of leaning towards Cracker. But either way, even if you said they were equal in that department, it won't play too much in a factor, because I feel like this fight won't be lasting too long. Now, narratively speaking, there's also the argument that Big Mum had complete faith that Cracker would be able to take out Luffy, and this is with her knowledge that Luffy defeated Doflamingo, narratively implying that she had faith that her subordinate would be able to beat Doflamingo. Now, there are potentially a few creative ways that Cracker could use his Devil Fruit that we didn't see in the main canon story, but that would be all my headcanon, so I won't include any of that. I might save that for his own specific video. And if you've seen my Doflamingo video that I dropped a few days ago, then you'll all know that I think Doflamingo could potentially use his birdcage technique in some different and deadly ways, but because that's all just headcanon, we won't bring it into play for this video. But there you guys have it. Those are the reasons why I think Cracker is beating Doflamingo with mid-difficulty, and that's with giving Doflamingo the benefit of the doubt of him being able to actually cut the biscuit soldiers. I hope I'm finally able to put a final nail in this coffin, and that we can put this argument to bed. But it is all just my subjective opinion, and I'm sure a lot of you will agree with what I'm saying, and I'm sure a hell of a lot of you are going to disagree. I imagine more of you will probably disagree with this. But that's the fun of making these types of videos. Like always, definitely leave in the comments what you think about who would win, and if you've made it this far into the video and you've enjoyed, please make sure to like and subscribe so we can continue making great anime content. But for right now, I've been Jack Cypher. Cypher out.